Hi everybody. So the response to yesterday's video about being an amputee and the surgeries that I had, I got quite a few views on that video. And along with that came some questions. So without hitting this trash can over here, I am going to do my best to answer those questions and go further in depth, well, as much as possible as I can, about being an amputee and everything that entails. So the questions I got were mainly concerning my A1C and my, sugar readings leading up to having my amputations, as well as what were my symptoms that I had that kind of cued me in on knowing that something was wrong. First of all, I want to take the time again to reiterate that I was told by the doctors at University Hospital in Cleveland that my amputations had nothing to do with my diabetes. It was my blood clotting disorder, and I just want to shed some light on having diabetes along with a blood clotting disorder. So I'll just start with my numbers. Around the time that I started noticing problems, my A1C was 8.1, and that's not terrible, but it's not really good either. And my sugars were running in the mornings about in the 160s, I want to say. So what led up to me having the amputation, the first symptoms that I got was that I noticed a severe pain in my right leg when I would walk. So every day it got worse, and then all of a sudden my toes started turning red, and that was my first 3 toes on my right foot. They were red, swollen, irritated, and they were kind of stiff when I would bend them. And I went to the doctor right away and got that checked out. They actually referred me to a podiatrist. I'm going to roll up the window, it's so noisy. They referred me to a podiatrist who was basically trying to keep his eye on the situation. I was also referred to a vascular surgeon, and ultimately it progressively kept getting worse, that to the point where my toes turned completely black, and they were pussy, and they were stinky. And that was the moment that the podiatrist decided that he was going to amputate the first 3 toes. So he put me in the hospital so I could wait for a surgery. And while I was in the hospital, they started running tests on me. And they did an MRI, and they found out that I had a blood clot in my leg. So initially they were going to do surgery on that too, but ultimately the vascular surgeon decided that he didn't want to operate on it because the blood clot was too old. So that was that. I had my first 3 toes amputated, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, if I am diabetic, how is this going to heal up? And I was right to think that, because the initial surgery, it did not heal up. It ended up reopening all the way to the bone in my foot. Now, mind you, my last 2 toes on my foot were fine. They were not red, they were not inflamed, they didn't have any of that stuff going on. But when I had my second surgery, and I still to this day don't know if it was the right thing to do, but the doctor said that he needed to take those toes because they would snag on something, or eventually he might have to take them anyway, and that it would make the surgery for closing up the... What are you doing? Closing up the wound much simpler and easier. So I really did not want him to take my last 2 toes, but I felt a little bit pressured and I kind of went along with it. I still have to wonder to this day if it would have been okay to keep those toes. As far as now, my A1C was 7.5 last time I went to the doctor, and I am still working on getting that completely under control. I will say this, I haven't always been the most compliant with treatment, so there have been times where I just didn't really want to take the medicines. I was tired of doctors and hospitals and all that jazz that came along with it. So there have been times that I kind of threw my medications out and just threw caution to the wind, which actually ended up getting me this most recent hospital stay with more blood clots, because they actually put me on medicine to keep my blood from forming clots. And that is Coumadin, Plavix, and Silostazol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last one correctly. But the thing with the Coumadin is there are dietary restrictions involved with taking that medicine. And that's because things like leafy green vegetables have a lot of vitamin K in them, and those can interact with the drug and make it less effective. There are also things like grapefruit and a couple other things that make it more potent. So I have to go in and get my blood drawn quite frequently to test what they call my INR level. And the last 2 times that I went in to get that checked, it was low. And I think that that's because sometimes I have accidentally eaten things that, make it less effective. So this thing is moving around. But as far as the medications go, right now I have been, especially since January when I have had my last surgery, I have been completely and 100% compliant, and I take my medications religiously because I truly know that I can't live without them. And I'm quite lucky because blood clots are very serious. They can actually dislodge and travel through your body to your vital organs like your lungs, your heart, and your brain. And my purpose of making these videos is so that I can help other people who might be in my situation or might be about to be in my situation, so that I can share my experiences, and if there's anything that I've been through that you could possibly avoid, that you don't want to go through, then this could serve as maybe a learning experience, I guess, because I really don't want anyone to have to go through the things I've gone through. And in the future, I am going to have my boyfriend Jason make a video on what it's like to have a partner with multiple health issues. I don't know why this keeps falling down. It's when I'm hitting bumps. So sorry about that, guys. But, excuse me, I want him to make that video so that people with loved ones that are going through things like this can... I give up. It's just going to keep falling. So, people with loved ones with health issues or multiple health issues can get his experience, and maybe he can help someone know what to do if they're in that situation. This thing needs tightened, I can tell. I was going to keep talking until I got Brandon to his appointment, but I don't really want to keep fighting with this camera and keeping it steady, so I'm going to let you guys go right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing, and if you liked it, please give it a like. And let me know down in the comments if you have any of the issues that I'm facing or how you found this video. Thank you. Have a great day.